never seen anything like this.
Hair color, the length of your toes, your belly button. No two of us are alike. In this episode, we'll look at even more rare differences some of us have. What is disregard? Why are you an innie or an outie? Is it possible to be unbreakable? This is Your Body On, the Rarest Body Features Part 2. Number 10. Super Energy. Imagine if you could jump out of bed fully rested after only a few hours sleep. Stretch. If you have this genetic mutation, you're amongst only 1% of the population. Most people need about 8 hours of sleep. But a mutation in a gene called DEC2 encodes a protein called the beta-1 adrenergic receptor. High levels of this protein allow you to feel well rested after just a few hours.
I sleep pretty hard.
Number 9. Dense bones. In the movie Unbreakable, Bruce Willis plays a character who survives a train crash without any broken bones. Well, there's one family in Connecticut who are truly unbreakable. One member was in a car crash that should have left him with a pile of broken bones. Instead, he survived with absolutely no fractures. It turns out that they all have a mutation in the LRP5 gene that gives them significantly higher bone density. But having strong, dense bones has its downfalls. You could have issues staying afloat, so be extra careful when swimming.
But wait! There's more!
And you'd be in trouble if you're in need of a hip replacement, as doctors may not be able to drill into your bones. This condition has been found in only 46 people, including a few more families in Nebraska. They can all trace their lineage back to a common ancestor.
My name is Paul.
Number 8. Double lashes. Legendary actress Elizabeth Taylor was known for her beautiful eyes. But it wasn't just their color that made them so special. It was her double eyelashes. Taylor had a rare condition called disregard. It's a genetic disorder that produces a second set of lashes. The extra hair grows out of where an oil gland would usually be. Although Taylor's condition was genetic, it's also possible to get this later in life if your eyelids become injured or inflamed. However, the missing gland helps keep your eye wet, and without it, you could suffer from eye irritation. It could even impact your vision.
I gotta get to the doctor.
Number 7. Redheads. Although redheads can be seen in about 30% of American advertisements, having red hair only occurs in 2% of the world's population. Naturally, red hair is a recessive trait. That means both of your parents must have the gene for you to get it. But you could have the gene and still not have red hair. Being ginger is most common in people of Northern and Western European ancestry.
Thanks, Dad.
Even rarer is having red hair and blue eyes. Only about 0.17% of all the people in the world have both.
You're 1 in a million.
Number 6. The healthy gene. The PCSK9 gene regulates cholesterol levels in your bloodstream. Normally, this gene will remove receptors that help your liver break down cholesterol. This allows the bad cholesterol, known as low-density lipoprotein, or LPL, to build up in your blood. This will put you at a higher risk of developing heart disease. But with a rare mutated version of the gene, the receptors are left alone. This allows your body to remove more LDL from your blood, giving you low cholesterol levels. With this gene, you can enjoy as many hamburgers, pizza, and fried foods as you want, as long as you don't mind getting fat. But just how rare is this gene? Only 2 to 3% of the population has it. Number 5. Supertasters. Ever taken a close look at those bumps on your tongue? They're called papillae, and they're what you use to taste food. About 25% of the population have extra papillae on their tongues that make them more sensitive to flavors. If you are a supertaster, you'll be tuned in more to anything bitter, sweet, or salty.
Still need salt.
But with all that extra sensitivity, you're likely not a fan of spicy, sugary, or fatty foods. That's my entire diet. Number 4. Outie belly buttons. When you're born, the doctor cuts your umbilical cord, leaving an umbilical stump. This stump falls off after 2 weeks, with your belly button being the final result. Whether you end up with an innie or an outie often depends on how your belly heals. Only around 4% of people will end up with an outie. But an outie can also develop later in life. If your abdominal muscles are underdeveloped and weak, it can allow your intestines to protrude and push against your belly button. This is called an umbilical hernia. Or you might have an umbilical granuloma, where there is extra tissue around the stump. For many women, their innie can become an outie while pregnant, as their growing baby puts more and more pressure on their abdominal wall.
Being here is impossible.
Number 3. Morton's toe. For most people, the big toe is longer than all the others, but for the 10% of people who have Morton's toe, the second toe takes the crown. This happens when the second metatarsal bone in your foot is longer than the first. The metatarsals connect to the phalanges that make up your toes. If you have Morton's toe, you likely put more weight on your second metatarsal. This can cause strain to your foot, as it is thinner than your big toe. But you'll be in good company.
All right, back it up, guys.
The Statue of Liberty has Morton's toe.
That's the real foot from the Statue of Liberty.
No, I'm okay.
Number 2. Hair whorl. Did you know that most people have a clockwise hair whorl on their head? That's the spiral pattern that your hair grows in. But for about 8.4% of people, that swirl goes in the other direction. If you're left-handed, your chance of having this rare condition rises to about 45%. But us lefties only make up 10% of the world's population. High five! Number 1. Single palmar crease. Have a look at the palm of your hand. You likely have 3 prominent creases across it. If you only have one strong crease that goes across your palm, you're quite rare.
Okay, look at my palm carefully.
Known as a single palmar crease, this line occurs in about 1.5% of the population. It's a hereditary trait that's most common in men.
I'm a simian liner on my left hand.
It is sometimes found in those with Down syndrome and fetal alcohol syndrome. But if you do have it, don't worry. It can sometimes just be a random trait. If you want to discover more of the rarest body features, join us on another episode of Your Body On.